Larken Rose here, and I am so happy to see the Kamala campaign bringing joy back to politics or the country or something. Because when I think of government and a bunch of politicians issuing commands and demands backed by the threat of violence and forcibly controlling and limiting the options of hundreds of millions of Americans, what that brings to mind for me is joyfulness. How stupid are you people? How dumb does the rhetoric have to get for your party before you start to get embarrassed? Joyful. She's going to be joyful. And then all the talking heads say, they're bringing back joy. What the flying fuck does that mean? Government isn't joy. Government is authoritarian control and extortion of other people. Now, even if you think that's necessary and legitimate, in what way is that joyful? George Washington, a couple of 100 years ago, more than that, said, government is not reason, it is not eloquence, it is force. He didn't say it is joyfulness, because it's not. It's violence. And, I mean, of course, political rhetoric has always been just patently stupid. It's always superficial. It's always meaningless. And at some point, a thing's going to come out called Barnum World. I highly suggest that you check it out. And by the way, in case people think I'm only picking on the Democrats here, the rhetoric on the other side has gotten just as stupid. Make America great again. Yeah. What could be more vague and idiotic than that? Great again. By doing what? You specified absolutely nothing. It was good before, then it got bad. We're going to make it good. Oh, yay. That's some specific, precise, policy positions you've expressed there. Then again, that came after hope and change. Hope it won't be as fucked up as it's always been, which it still was under Obama. And change. Change of what? Change from what to what? Yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Just change. There's something other than what is. Because everybody agrees that what is kind of sucks. So, something else. Oh, great. You don't have to specify what else. Maybe the change will be the whole country's on fire. As long as it's change, and as long as we can hope for change, doesn't matter if the country's on fire. Doesn't matter if it's an improvement. Doesn't matter what's changing. Just change. And then make America great again is just as stupid, is just as superficial and empty. And people go rah, rah, rah. But the joyful thing might take the cake. That might be the most ridiculous focus of a propaganda campaign. Joy, especially given the individual they're trying to tack it to, this cackling, power-happy moron. Yeah, that makes me joyful when I see this yammering idiot trying to repackage communism. I don't know, maybe that makes you joyful because you're an idiot. But how dumb does it have to get? It didn't used to be this dumb. Make political discourse less stupid again. No, it was always bogus. It was always euphemism and lies. It was always spin. It was always trying to paint authoritarian domination as good things and protecting the blah, 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 and patriotism, and we're number one, and we're going to stop those scary foreigners, and we're going to stop those criminals, and we're going to make good things happen. Politics has always been fluffy BS used to hide the fact that it's violent domination. That's all government ever is. George Washington admitted it. quarter of a millennia ago. Millennium. But it used to be that they sort of expressed something. Now, some people may conclude that people have gotten so stupid that they can't even handle like a speech by JFK or a speech by Reagan. Not that those weren't manipulative excuses for authoritarian control, because they were. But they said something. They at least pretended to express some idea, which they would then immediately betray and sell your soul to the ruling class. But at least they tried to express something. I don't actually think the dumbing down of the rhetoric was because the people of the country got that much dumber. I think it's two reasons. The propagandists got lazy and stupid. The propaganda of people like Edward Bernays, who was a genius, he was evil empowerer of the worst people in the world, but he was clever. He knew his stuff. He knew how to manipulate and indoctrinate people. He knew how to exploit people's emotions and make them do what he wanted them to. And so, of course, the politicians were lining up at Edward Bernays' door and saying, hey, can we pay you to bullshit these people on our behalf? You did a great job of bullshitting them on behalf of, like, cigarette companies and stuff like that. We could really use somebody with your bullshitting skills. Where are the Edward Bernays of today? Partly, I think it's because the propagandists are just that bad. There really are. In a campaign with that much resources and that much money behind it, somewhere there really was a decision. A bunch of people really were probably sitting in a room around a table saying, how can we get people excited about the Kamala campaign? What should be our focus? What should be our theme? How about joyfulness? And lots of them said, yeah, let's do that. How bankrupt does your brain have to be that that's your sales pitch? That's pathetic and it's idiotic. Now, they're up against pathetic and idiotic on the Republican side too. So, okay, battle of the morons for the hearts and minds of the American people. And as long as most of the American people still believe in statism and still believe we need to have a ruling class, that it's valid and legitimate and necessary and inevitable, then yeah, they'll look at the two utterly ridiculous substance-free sales pitches, hold their nose, and pick the one they think is slightly less bonkers than the other one. But it's so weird to watch the level of propaganda. If you look at the tyrants in history, Mao and Stalin and Hitler, and you look at their speeches and you look at the sales pitches and you look at what they did as far as getting people to go rah, rah, rah for authoritarian power, because they were always pointing at something bad, like this bad thing is going on, but if you give me power, I'll fix it. They used to actually have substance. Now, it was bogus, it was immoral, their excuses were lame, but they could make it twisted and complicated enough that you would have lots of people cheering for more authoritarian power based on more or less specific descriptions of what they were going to do. Now you have nothing from either side. What do you think Trump intends to do? Well, lower taxes. Except when he raises taxes, which he brags about a lot. We're gonna impose tariffs. Yeah, that's called taxes on Americans. He's bragging about increasing taxes on Americans and bragging about it being revenue neutral, which means we're still gonna be stealing the same amount of dollars from the American people, but we'll rearrange it slightly so some people will benefit and some people will be hurt more. But you're supposed to like that and go rah, rah, rah. You're supposed to cheer for the fact that he's bragging about the fact that the government will still be getting the same number of dollars from the productive people. That's what revenue neutral means. And bragging about taxing the hell out of Americans by way of tariffs. I'm going to rob you this way instead of that way. The fact that it's this superficial and this stupid and it's still working on people. It's just embarrassing. The thing is, it's actually working on fewer people. It still works on way more people than it should. And I think a lot of people, it doesn't even really work on. I'm sure there are plenty of Democrats who are looking at the campaign and going, bringing back joy? Like that, what? What does that even mean? But yay, because not Trump. We're scared of him, so yay for whatever inane bullshit my party wants to spew. I'm sure there's plenty of that on both sides, of people just pretending that they don't recognize that the propaganda from their own party is just superficial, inane bullshit, even though they can totally see that. But still, there must be a few people still falling for this silliness and still thinking, yeah, joyful, bringing back joy to... Okay. And if you went anywhere else, once again, it's this weird phenomenon that in any other setting other than politics, where people aren't indoctrinated into these bogus beliefs, anybody would go, "That what are you talking about?" Like, oh, I went back to like my mechanic, my auto mechanic, because I needed some work done. And he said their new focus is bringing back joy. So, what? How about focus on fixing cars? What are you talking about? Oh yeah, the new plumber came over because we had a leak, and he said his new focus is going to be on joyfulness. You just do your job and shut up. What the hell is wrong? What do you mean joyfulness? What are you yammering about? And yet when it comes to these powers of position, these positions of power, sorry, dyslexic all of a sudden, they can say this, and a lot of people go, oh yeah, with a straight face, joyfulness. Make America great again. What is, could you be vaguer than that? Well, we want it to be good instead of bad. We're in Ideocracy. We're not just headed there, we're there. It's not even a leap from where we are to some campaign saying, we want good stuff, not bad stuff. And having that be the entire slogan. Good stuff, not bad stuff. Wow. That's profound. It's probably only a matter of time before some campaign literally has that as their slogan. Because it's the exact same empty idiocy that's conveyed by build back better. That's literally just a rephrasing of Make America Great Again. It's the same concept. But if you're a mega extremist because you want better instead of worse, well, then you're like a scary racist. But we want better instead of worse because we're good and just... Again, in the big picture, I think this is actually a good thing because it's so fucking stupid. A lot of people, even if they don't want to admit it out loud because they don't want to be seen betraying their own party, which doesn't give a crap about them, even if they don't want to say it out loud, plenty of people are looking at the bullshit of their own party and going, God, is that the best we could do? Is this the best person we could put up? People are supposed to be excited about this? And this rhetoric and propaganda where nobody says anything of any substance? There's nothing close to a principle, never mind actually having sound moral principles, like that doesn't ever happen in government, never will, but at least something that kind of sounds like some sort of position on something? Please? So I think a lot of people, the more ridiculous the clown show gets, the more they realize this is not okay. This is just absurd. And the funniest thing to me is we came out with the movie Jones Plantation, and the fictional character, Mr. Smith, the slave smith, who tells the slave masters the most efficient, effective way to enslave the human mind, he's literally light years ahead of anybody running for office right now. Literally, the character that I made up is a better propagandist for the state than whoever the goofballs are working for the Republican and Democratic parties, and Libertarian for that matter, and every other third party. Their propagandists are worse at the game than the fictional guy I made up for Jones Plantation. And I'm going to end this by saying I'm very thankful for that. I can laugh at it. I can point out how ridiculous it is. If they had people there who were actually good at the spin and the manipulation and the actually effective exploitation of emotions, we might be in way worse trouble than we are now. So I am thrilled that the clown show is this utterly ridiculous. And the only thing that could have been more ridiculous than Biden, who couldn't complete a sentence, is Kamala, this cackling, literal idiot. You listen to her talk. The funnest thing in the world would be if I was allowed to interview her, because I could very easily demonstrate she doesn't understand anything about anything. She is literally a parrot. She doesn't have ideas. She doesn't have concepts. She can't follow a train of thought. She has groups of words that she's heard often enough that she can mimic those words like a parrot. And that's it. She does not have thought. She does not have beliefs or principles, even crappy beliefs and principles. She has nothing. Now, Trump is a better bullshitter. He doesn't actually have principles and beliefs, but he could comprehend such things if he cared about them. He just doesn't. But I think it's helpful when the clown show is this ridiculous that even normal people who have gone along with this for their whole lives, even a bunch of them are starting to go, okay, this is, at what point do I stop pretending that either of these clowns in this ridiculous circus deserve any respect? Because they don't. Neither of them do. Neither side does. They haven't ever deserved it, but now it's more obvious than ever. So the question is, are you ready to admit that the propaganda of your own party is patently idiotic and just fucking stupid? It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't say anything. It has no principles and no actual ideas behind it. It's just fluff. It's just noise to manipulate idiots into bickering over which corrupt clown to put on the throne for the next few years. Part of you knows that's true. Is that part of you able to step forward and admit it out loud? Or are you going to keep pretending that the inane bullshit from your side really is awesome and we should cheer for that just because you're so scared of the other side? This is absolutely the emperor has no clothes moment. Only we have two emperors. Neither of them have any clothes. But both sides have followers who are so scared of the other. Well, I'm not going to admit that our emperor has no clothes. I'll say that that one has no clothes, but not ours. How much are you going to make a fool of yourself parroting this stupid, inane bullcrap, whether you're Democrat or Republican or whatever? And at what point are you going to salvage some shred of self-respect and say, okay, I'm not going to pretend this isn't just stupid crap. It's stupid crap on both sides. Is this the best we can do? Because until you dare to come out and say that, you're just an enabler of stupid crap. But that's okay, as long as you can be joyful about it.